Calculate the number of pallets needed to produce 12 tables. From the information, we gathered that the table requires 2 pallets to be made. So all we have to do is take 12 and multiply it by 2, and now we arrive at our answer of 24. Calculate the length of the table excluding the glass top if the leg including the wheel is 200 millimeters high. From our information, we know that the pallets are 145 millimeters each. So we know that we are also using 2 pallets. So we have to say 145 plus 145. Further to that, in our question, they've given us information that the leg, including the wheel, is 200 millimeters. So we add those 3 amounts and we arrive at 490 millimeters. Calculate the area in millimeters squared of the glass top. You may use the formula area is equal to length times width. Now you must know that width is also called the breadth. We are required to substitute into the formula. So looking at our given information, we see that the length is 1200 millimeter, the breadth is 1050 millimeter. So we substitute this into our formula, and in so doing, sometimes the examiner will give us different units of measure. We might end up getting millimeter and centimeter. So it's important that we don't rush and just enter our numbers as we see it, but we make sure that all the units are the same. So multiplying this through, we end up getting 1,260,000 millimeters squared. For safety reasons, a rubber strip will be placed around the edge of the glass top. Calculate the total length in millimeter of the rubber. The key word given in this question is the word edge, which means that we are going around the shape. So we need to take into consideration the length and the breadth. Now when I say length and breadth, remember there are 2 lengths and there are 2 breadths because this is a rectangular shape. Now I've presented to you 2 options in which you can answer this using the formula which was presented at the bottom. 2 times length plus breadth, and you substitute it in there. Or if you are unsure, you can just add up all the sides. Remember, it must be 4 sides in total. So we substitute our 1200 for our length and our 1050 for our breadth. Adding this all up in millimeter, our answer will end up with 4500 millimeter. The information given to us is a coaster as well as its holder, and they are given dimensions of each, and we need to take this information and answer the following question. And they are stating that the holder will have a decorative ribbon going around it. They're catering for a 2 centimeter longer length for tying this ribbon. And so we are required to calculate the total length in centimeter of the ribbon, and we are given a formula in which we need to use. Substituting into the formula, we have pi. Pi is 3,142. We always use this amount for pi. And then our diameter, remember we take the diameter of the holder because the ribbon will go around the holder. So looking at our outer diameter, the information is given. It is 110 millimeter. Thereafter, we have to take into consideration the 2 centimeter, which is called the overlap. Now we are working currently with millimeter. So we take the 2 centimeter and convert it to millimeter, and we arrive at 20 millimeters. Multiplying this through, we get 365,62 millimeter. Now the question requires that we put our final answer in terms of centimeter. So we convert this and we arrive at 36,562 centimeters. Write down the inner radius in millimeters of the cylindrical holder. We are given the diameter of the cylindrical holder, which is 110. Now we also given further information that the thickness of the cylindrical holder is 5 millimeters. So in looking at the diameter and looking at the distance it covers, we notice that it covers 2 sides of this particular holder. So you have 5 millimeters on one side, 5 millimeters on the other side. Therefore we need to subtract these 2 5 millimeters, and we arrive at 100 millimeters. But remember now, this what we've worked out is the diameter of the inner part of the cylindrical holder. The question wants us to give them the radius. So we take this 100, we divide it by 2 because if it's half the diameter, and we arrive at 50 millimeters. Hence, Calculate the space needed in the holder to fit exactly 8 coasters, and there is a formula given to you. And you notice that in giving us the formula, we are given radius in this formula, and now they asked us in the previous question to work out this radius. So there is a follow-up in terms of questions, and this is something you must look forward to when it comes to your exams. Substituting into our formula, likewise we use pi as 3,142. Now the radius we've just worked out as mentioned, so it will be 50 millimeters, and remember it's squared. This is something that learners always tend to forget when writing their exams, and when bringing out that substitution they forget the squared sign. So make sure even in your calculations you square this. Further, we have the height. Now with the height we have the amount of 48. How did we arrive at 48? Looking at the information that we've given to us in the table, we find that they've mentioned that each of the coaster is 6 millimeters. Now if we are fitting in 8 coasters within this, so 8 times 6, and this is how we arrive at our 48. Keep in mind all units must be the same, so we are working in millimeters. And then finally we arrive at 377,040 millimeter cubed. Remember, volume is cubed and area is squared. In this question we are given a layout of a shopping mall, and we are asked to state which parking area is closest to Toy World. If you look at the top right hand corner, you'll find Toy World toward this particular area, and right at the top there is written parking area 2. Write down the name of the shop that has the biggest floor area. Now by looking at this diagram you can clearly see that Woolworths stands out as being the most biggest on this diagram, so this would obviously be your answer. The manager of shop 18 ordered a cup of coffee and a slice of cake to be delivered by Crazy Daisy Coffee Shop. Give the delivery man a set of directions from Crazy Daisy's store all the way to shop 18. When giving directions of this nature, remember the direction you are facing will determine where's your left or right. There are 2 ways in which learners can arrive at their destination. So I've indicated both, and each one has a red line indicating as to the direction you are moving according to the answers provided on your right. Once you exit the store, you will turn right, so you'll move towards your right, and then you notice that you'll be facing in the direction in which you are walking, where the red line is. Now in reference to that, then only we'll turn right again because I'm facing in that direction. This is how you need to cater for your directions. So we've turned our second right now. Now we'll be, if you look at the diagram, we are basically walking down, and it states there that we are walking towards entrance 1. Now this is the direction we'll be facing, is towards this arrow right at the bottom where it says entrance 1. In reference to the direction we are facing, then we notice that we have to turn left, and once we turn left we will be facing entrance 2. So from that direction we have to determine which is our right or which is our left. We pass 2 shops on our right, and once we pass the 2 shops on our right we will be taking the right. So once we take our right, now we notice that we will be facing the entrance of shop 18, and as we walk a little further down, that shop 18 will be on our right. Keeping in mind what we've learnt, I will allow you a few seconds to look at the second approach in which a learner can arrive at shop 18, and make sure that you take into cognizance the direction in which you are facing at that point of time, and notice how they laid out the answer. Remember, it's good to also say pass a certain place or certain point that's quite visible on the map, which does help as well. Write down the probability of randomly selecting a shop that has 2 door entrances. There are only 2 shops that have 2 doors, that is shop 1 and Toy World. Woolworths has 3 doors, so we don't take that into consideration, so our answer will be 2/23.